My name is Rosario Rivera Bond, and I'm here at Curator's Voice in Miami, Florida. I'm having this show with 10 pieces. This particular piece is called The Embrace. It's a very large painting, and the size is like 93 by 108 inches wide. This was the first piece that I did for this particular show. My intention was to do most of the work abstract, but I decided to introduce a figuration for this painting. As you can see, I use bold colors, and there's a long hair. It's a couple. It's called The Embrace, and it's a romantic couple lying down in front of the ocean, like on the beach. But there is like an imaginary plant formation in front of it. In this particular piece, I use acrylic painting. I usually used to work with oils, but I decided for this show to use acrylic, which I used to use before, and I actually really enjoy the immediacy of it. This is the second painting in the show, and the name is Celebration. As you can see, it's the same size of the other one. It's also a very large painting. I also use acrylic in this work, and it has an allegory to a landscape, even though it is not a landscape at all. But I did take some inspiration from nature. I usually use nature as inspiration, in my work. But it has a lot of layers. This particular piece took a long time to paint. I started with a background, and then I added gestural forms with bold imaginary lines and drippings that went on and on. I used a very small ink pen to do the small lines, which gave it that illusion of leaves and flowers. But it's not really leaves and flowers, it's all in my mind. It's an abstract work. I consider it an abstract piece of work. The colors, I changed the color palette. This is a more blue, in depth, and greens, and some purples, as you can see. The title of this work is The Dream, and as you can see, it's literally a dream. It's completely abstract. It has an incredible layers of imaginary scenes, and literally almost like a scribbling. I use a lot of scribbling in this particular piece. It just gave me that. It was very peaceful to make. It was very relaxing to make and challenging, because it was totally something a little bit different to what I'm usually doing. I use a different color scheme to the rest of the paintings in this particular show. A lot of drippings and bold lines. These are the three large pieces in this particular show, and the name is The Dream. This work has a different format, a different size to the other ones. This is slightly smaller and it's vertical. This is a total abstract piece, and it's called Amore. The colors are very bold, romantic in a way. I use a lot of pink, indicating love, which is Amore. And again, the same thing. I use a lot of layers and juxtaposing of forms and shapes. This work is called Too Good to Fail, which is the title that I use for the show. This is an ironic title that I decided to take or to borrow from the political situation that we are going through in this country lately. As you can see, the work is a little bit chaotic, which is exactly what's happening now. This piece is also the same, like vertical, as opposed to the other one that were horizontal. It's also using a lot of juxtaposing and bold lines. I use a lot of white in this piece because it's very, very strong. It's actually also a little bit, it's so strong that it almost like it repels you a little bit. But if you really look at it, it's beautiful. And the colors I used more primary colors as opposed to the other one that had more secondary colors. And I love this piece. That's why the show is called, has this title. This is the only three-dimensional piece of the show, and it's a mobile. As you can see, these are lot of small pieces made of a very light material, and they look like asteroids. They look like from out of Earth. I use a lot of feminine objects in it, like earrings, shiny little diamonds, and stones that you can buy from the flea markets and places like that. And I use a mirror on the floor to make a reflection which gives it a very beautiful depth. As you get near it and you look down, it creates an illusion of depth and almost like surreal. I love this piece.